Welcome back, incredible favorite listeners ever. We have such a cool podcast family. We thank you so much, and you are in for it. You have been loving on group shows. Well, let me tell you, I was on an incredible summit, and I got to hear these women who you are going to hear from today. And it was like, PJ, let's get these ladies on a show because this is going to vibe so high. You guys know our show. It's Mission Accepted. It's people that take the mission. It's people that stay on the mission. And that can be a little curvy. It can be a little curvy. We kind of do like this little 007 thing because honestly, sometimes you take the mission and you're like, that's not the mission I signed up for. That's not what I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a stewardess. What do you mean I'm out here coaching, changing lives, or doing whatever it is that you're doing? So look at, when I met PJ, she's like, I'm doing this summit. I'm like, what's it called? She's like, Fearless and Flourishing. I'm like, yeah, I want to be there. And it was International Women's Day weekend. We had just finished doing a 2-day international thing, and everyone's like, hey, get some rest tomorrow. I'm like, nope. The calling is loud. So look at you as an audience are fearless and flourishing, and you absolutely are today. And if you're not, you're going to be when you get off, you're going to feel like your adrenaline's going. You're going to be like, I feel some pump. I don't know what it is, but I feel like getting on my fun outfit and going out and doing something fun. So PJ, you kicked off this last party. You got these women together. So I'm going to go to you first and ask you, what was it that actually, it's really interesting. Like when we make titles, we make titles for summits, we make titles for books, you make title for your presentation. And it's a big piece, right? It's the thing that draws people to, the subject. So what was it about fearless and flourishing that made you decide to do your summit and name it that?
It was because of living in fear. As a woman, I grew up living in fear. I grew up living in shame and living in the shadow. So I felt like, us as women, we're fearless, and we flourish, we survive, we thrive no matter what. They have those sayings, behind every great man is an even greater woman. Then why should we live in fear? And I brought this, and then it was also International Women's Day that we kind of did this. You had yours and I had mine, and we kind of combined it together. And when I combined it, kind of merged together, and it made this powerhouse. So I decided that women who has overcome adversity, those are some of the most fearless women I've ever met. And why not share those stories on my summit, to help express to the world that we are fearless and we are flourishing and we are empowered and we're not ashamed of it. We're happy to be sharing our stories with other women to help them grow and to find their fearlessness as well.
Woo! Okay. Did I say that you were going to be feeling like your blood is pumping? We're going to kick off this show. So look, tell us where you live. Tell us your name and tell us what you do.
Oh, I just jumped right in, didn't I?
I know. Well, that's what I told them. I told them they're going to be fearless and flourishing. So if you're writing notes, just get your recorder because you're not going to be able to write as fast as these ladies are going to pump you up today.
I actually, as of Wednesday, have been living in Costa Rica for the past year. I jumped up with my family and invested in, took a, sacrifice of fearlessly took that sacrifice to invest in myself. So I live in Costa Rica. My name is PJ. I am a motivational empowerment strategist. I'm an NLP practitioner, and I am a survivor. And I am really proud of the work that I'm doing in the community. And I'm so honored to have met Miss Deb. She's awesome. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, absolutely. All of us having a show. Okay, well, thank you so much. We're pumped up, and now we're jealous because she's in Costa Rica. All right, Linda, let's go to you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you are, where you're coming from. And you know what? When we listen to PJ talk, I think we hear the word strength, but I think we hear the word resilience. Because for me, strength is like something you muster to do something, and resilience is the availability to do that over a long period of time. And I don't know, right? I think that we can all kind of nod our heads on that, even those of you that are driving down the highway. Okay, Linda, so please tell us while you introduce yourself, what is it about resilience? So just in case you don't know, all these women are not only living that life, but they're also pouring into others, and they are entrepreneurs as well, which is why they're on Mission Accepted. So if you don't mind sharing with us, how has resilience played a part in your business? So Linda, we're going to kick off with you. Oh, we can't hear you, darling. Unmute yourself. Hey, everybody, unmute yourself.
Sorry, I am Linda Henderson. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I am an author. And resilience to me is me being triumphant over grief for 13 years. I lost my daughter, my 27-year-old daughter, the worst thing that could possibly happen to me in my life. And I have the power within. I am capable. I am strong. I can do this. Not I can do this. I will do this. And I have, like I said, triumphant over grief. It's not easy, but that's what resilience means to me. And by writing my book, The Road of Love and Hope, it has brought me to this point of strength beyond strength that I didn't even know existed.
Wow, that is amazing. Look at how we are starting off. We are hearing as we go resilience. Thank you so much for sharing, Linda. And Cassandra, how about yourself? Share with us, please.
Hey everybody, my name is Kissonda Williams, aka Coach Kiss, and I am a women's resilience coach and professional speaker. Resilience for me has looked like overcoming men so greatly, and just having to have the fortitude to say, you know what, this is no longer, and standing up within my own strength. And so having done that, I wrote part of that story in the anthology, I Almost Gave Up, But God, Stories of Deliverance and Overcome, Volume 2, and me to know never to quit. Because to be honest, this is my third go around, but this is the first time that I've had the resilience and the wherewithal to stand up in my power. That's exactly what it is. And so I'm working now to help other women stand in theirs.
Ooh, that is very, very cool. And we love the word stand up around here. Like our summit that PJ was on is stand up, speak up, and show up. Yes, you. Because some women are like, I'm not ready. I'm like, we wouldn't be talking if you weren't. And some women are like, oh man, I've done that for 30 years. I'm kind of like, and I'm like, get yourself back on stage. So thank you for doing what you do. That's awesome. I love that. All right, Darla, and yourself.
Hi, I'm Darla Ridilla, and I just moved to Durango, Colorado, and I'm a self-love coach. Yes, which means that I help women to fall back in love with themselves so they can attract their dream partner. And moving to Durango fits right in with resilience because I spoke about how narcissistic abuse saved my life. And I left Colorado 10 years ago because I was being stalked by an abusive ex. And I decided in January that I was going back, no matter what that meant in the future, because it's taking back my power. And how that transfers to my business is not only taking back your power, but being really in touch with your intuition. Being resilience is being flexible. If one-on-ones aren't resonating with me, move to groups, do whatever it is that's still going to serve the women, but also fit in and be in alignment with what I enjoy and do well.
Wow, thank you so much. And Colorado, I will be there next year to do some speaking. We're going to have to hang out. What I heard there almost is be intuitively flexible. Like,
yes.
First of all, congratulations for going back because that's what came up for you. And that was your way of taking back power. And everybody has their own way of taking back power, right? For some people, it could be writing in a journal. For some people, it could be actually having a conversation. Some people could be burning a letter. Some people, it could be actually stepping into a job or stepping out of a job. But what I heard is like having that flexibility. Do I go here? Do I go there? What do I do? What's my intuition telling me? And then having faith in that and having faith in yourself. Yay, look at this. Good morning, everybody. And Ebony, let's hear from you.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Ebony Adams. I am here from Cleveland, Ohio. I am the CEO and founder of Pearls of the World LLC, where I mentor girls ages 5 to 18 that have an absent parent due to addiction, incarceration, or death. Resilience for me looks like coming out of the shadow, feeling that I'm confident enough to be able to pour it not only into my own children, but children who have experienced the life that I have, to let them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel and our circumstances do not by any means define who we are, who we were, what our parents did, or why they did it.
Ooh. All right. Wow. So, well, I don't know. Should you be on a summit that says fearless and flourishing? I mean, what I heard was such a hero, or let's say Shiro story, right? Like, because when you said what I did, that is so Shiro. Because look, it takes a lot It takes a lot to
Yeah.
raise our own, right? And sometimes we have extended family that we have to accompany by, but to be able to what we call compartmentalize and be able to just have that kind of resilience around where you stop, where they start, because you could, you know, that's an ongoing, I mean, that's a teapot that just doesn't stop. It's like something's filling it in. So I'm sending you self-care vibes today. That's what I'm sending you.
Thank you.
But thank you for doing so much of what you do. And we're going to go over to Lady B.
Hello, hello. I am Lady V. I'm actually out of Texas. I actually moved back to Texas because sometimes we just have to go back home and know who we are. So I'm your favorite spiritual release coach, meaning that I teach you how to roar in your greatness. And resilience for me, meaning that it's okay to not be okay and still look good while you're doing it. And know that no matter what you're going through, that you can be strong, even when people tell you that you can't. And so for me, my resilience always came from being abusive, abused as a child and molested at the age of 8. And so I refuse to just stand in silence. And so now I roar and teach individuals how to roar in their greatness as well.
Ooh, you could hear it in your voice. You know, you could hear this. Like if I was talking to you and I had a situation going on, I think just having a conversation, you would feel uplifted because there's this adamancy in your voice that's just so clear. I definitely could hear and see why you would be on that summit. Thank you so much for what you do. Look at these women coming back around where you say coming home, you know, and then coming home, right? Like you're talking about coming home and then coming home. And I think that people would get a sense of that with you where they are just having that conversation. Oh my gosh. Woo. Okay. This is how I felt after the summit. So I hope PJ does another one, and I'm sure she will, because we'll all force her to if she doesn't, because that's the kind of people we are. We're those kind of good friends. But I'm sure that it will be amazing. Anyways, Natalie.
Good morning, ladies. How are you? I hope everyone is well. My name is Natalie Solomon. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. I'm a public health practitioner, wellness strategist, professional speaker, and founder of Merake Life and Style. So simply put, I help women, especially those navigating chronic health like myself. I'm a survivor of brain surgery, stage 4 endometriosis, infertility, secure their own oxygen mask first through coaching, speaking, and curated experiences and creating sacred spaces, and really help them prioritize their wellness, build resilience like we've been talking about, and design a life of purpose and joy. In the vein of resilience, one of the most powerful lessons I've learned is how do you gracefully adapt to the situations that life throws your way, and how your perfect plan does not always end up being your perfect plan as you may think it's supposed to lay out, and how do you adjust to the strategies without abandoning your mission, but you still stay steadfast with it and really embrace where you are in the place that you find yourself and flourish and bloom and breathe in that space, and help figure out how can that make you grow stronger as you move forward with the tools that you've been given or the situation that kind of has been laid at your feet, and figure out how do you bounce back in that resilience. So thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, you clearly have bounced back. You clearly have bounced back. All right. Okay. And so we have Lucy. Lucy, please share with us where you're coming from and how you've used resilience in your business.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us. Because this is truly a pleasure. My name is Lucy. I'm here also from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am an influencer. I am a facilitator, I'm an author, and I'm a speaker. And I am the owner of My Favor by Faith. And what we do is that's the umbrella for Treasures of Faith. And I have a youth group that I go to schools, and I run my groups in schools for teenagers who have been dealt with some type of abuse. Because my background is I was sexually abused as a child. So I want to pour back into young ladies. So we do life skills with them. We teach them about self-care, letting them know that you are enough. And so we do it's a 10-week program. So we do that as well as children. I am an author of a children's book and it's for my children, but also for every child around the world. It's called Faith and Elijah's Affirmations from A to Z. So instead of saying A for apple, B for ball, we doing A for amazing, B for beautiful, C for confident. So we encouraging our children while they're learning their alphabets. So also I run a sister to sister program where that's for adult women. We come together and we encourage one another and we build a platform for transparency. And that is Lucy.
Wow. I think that A, B, C, D, I think that should be for everybody. I think that's something that, when you're like, and I'm sure you do give that out to people, because I think, I don't know about you, but all the cool things that we do in life, don't we all need our own reminders? Like, that's what the listeners are coming in today. They're like, hey, I'm doing my, my ABCs, let's just call it my ABCs. And where do we pull that in from? Because when you're pouring into others, when you decided to take the entrepreneurial journey, which is why we call it Mission Accepted, like you said, it's not always on path. Like Natalie talked about, it's not always what you show up and you think it to be. And I remember when my son sat me down at 15, he was 15. And well, of course I wasn't 15. And he's like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, the first thing out of my mouth was, have you looked at our dining room table? Like, I'm an entrepreneur. We haven't ate there. I don't know how long, you know what I mean? It's covered in papers. And that it's not the easiest, right? It's not the easiest. And it's not the easiest to navigate, particularly when you are in a business that helps other people, because that's extra dynamic. It's different if you're like you and yourself alone doing software or something like that, you're building software. But when you are working with other people, that all of you ladies are, there's a whole different dynamic to it in terms of, rising yourself up to that occasion. And that is my next question for you. So I want to ask you yourself. So outside of what you do for others, now we know what you do for others. Now we know how you pour in. I want to know what you do to pour into yourself. Like, what is it as this bodacious, sustainable entrepreneur, how you fulfill yourself, how you keep yourself going, motivated, whatever it is, like, how do you pour inside to stay what we call here sustainable? And sustainable doesn't just have to be financial. I mean, we help on that too, because that's good, right? You have to have more money left than month. That's very important. But how do you stay sustainable? Like, how do you stay sustainable within yourself and get up and go, I might be tired, but my feet are going on the floor for the right reasons today. So, and I'm going to start with you, Lady B.
Well, I'm glad that you asked. For me, I am all about self-care, because for me, you can't roar in your greatness. You can't release, overcome, awaken the rebel, or rise to your greatness if you don't rest. And so for me, rest is a key factor. And it's not just about going to sleep. It's actually about being able to actually relax within yourself and knowing that you can relax your mind, your soul, and your spirit as well, and be able to take that time to actually leave everything at the front door and take that time for you. So no matter what, I take at least 1 to 2 days every week, period. I don't care what's going on and how it's going on. I disconnect myself from the world and I actually stay in tune with myself, because self-care is the best care. And if you're not going to take care of self, you can't take care of nobody else, because how are you going to pour from an empty cup? And so I like my cup to be full so that I can still teach individuals how to literally roar in their greatness and just be great and be okay with being great.
I love that extra piece that you put on there, being okay, being great, being okay, not being great, right? Because there's times when, oh my gosh, I don't feel good. What am I going to, and somehow we think that it portrays out there, or that we're going to get judged for that. Because as you start to rise in your business, as you start to rise to take care of other people, in comes I have to always look like I have it together. Right. Okay. Ebony, what about yourself?
So I actually recently just started, because of those very reasons that Lady V expressed. How can I effectively and genuinely pour into others if I have not poured the same into myself? So now I have created to where every Friday I take myself out, even with being married. My husband and I have 8 children, and I'm constantly at work, business, sports, school, being a wife. That's a job in itself. So I decided that I would every Friday, which I call it Fabulous Favorite Fridays, I take myself out This past Friday, Thursday was my birthday, and this past Friday and Saturday, I was able to experience what's called a leading ladies experience 2025, and we were poured into physically, spiritually, emotionally, and verbally, and it had been the best birthday gift that I could have given myself. And so setting boundaries also, even in my home, has helped me to start taking care of me better so that I can take care of them and others.
Okay, so everybody, I want you to celebrate your birthday every week. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I love this. I hope all of you listeners and viewers are taking this in. Okay, don't need to take notes, but take it in. And Darla, what about yourself?
Yeah, it definitely on the self-care train here. I actually went through a really, really tough time over this past month. The day after we did the Fearless and Flourishing, I left with a carload of things to come to Durango, and I've been going back and forth between Colorado and Arizona. And 9 days after I got here, my dog died very suddenly. And so while I had to give myself time, I had to cancel appointments. I had to be okay with upsetting people because I needed that time. And the following week, I did decide to go back to work, and it was messy and I wasn't 100% and I was emotional, and I allowed that to be okay. I've really been listening to what is it my body needs. And if I need to cancel plans with a friend or a business associate, I've done that because it goes back to that you can't give from an empty cup. And there's been a lot of things and a lot of change going on. And I had to really focus on me. So I probably wouldn't be as together today if I hadn't. You know, today I feel ready. Today's my first day full time back. And I'm going to be okay. I'm going to cry some more tears, but I'm going to be okay.
Wow, thank you. Just trusting yourself, being where you are. I love that. And PJ, yourself.
Honestly, it was Lady V because I like she talks like you said, she talks, she coaches, she's helped me a lot. She's the one that told me I need to sit down because I was going on fumes by the time she finally got to me a couple of months ago. So I basically had to tell myself sit down. So on the weekends, I disconnect. I like to cook a lot, but on those days I won't cook. I call it my selfish time because it's selfish. Sometimes I have to be selfish to make myself heal because I was burning my body out. I was, bags under my eyes, dark circles. And she was the one that actually said, you can't roar in your greatness unless you rest. So I've heard her say this to me before. She helps me out a lot. And that's what I do. I practice a lot of self-care. Like Miss Ebony said, I set boundaries in my own home. If I don't want to cook that day, because I cook for my whole family, I'm not going to cook that day. You guys are going to have to figure it out. I have to be okay with not being okay. I have to be okay with sometimes, like Miss Darla said, letting a person down when they're used to having so much of me. I have to give into myself. So I had to learn how to pour back into my cup. So I just lay there some days and veg out. Some days I meditate. It's just whatever I'm going to do, but I take my time and I give it back to myself. And I'm happy about it, and I don't feel guilty about it.
I think that's an extra piece, right? Is not feeling guilty about it. And it's interesting. It's so different for everyone. For you, it could be I'm not cooking. I'm going to stop cooking. For someone else, I'm going to take a day to cook. You know what I mean? I'm going to cook, and I'm like, there's just it's so variable, but the feeling is the same. I think there's a sense of empowerment when you take care of yourself, or at least know, if you're in a growth period, what it is that your fallback go-to is, right? And Linda, for yourself, what is it, that thing that fills you up as you're pouring into others?
Well, I think I have to agree with what's been said here, is that it is okay to not be okay. Mm-hmm. And having said that, one of the things I make sure that I do and have had to do in my journey is acknowledge what I feel. And I save some space for those feelings and I acknowledge them, because emotionally I have to do that. We have to face those fears. We have to face that pain. And then by doing that, I take actions. And one of my main actions is walking and being in tune with nature. I walk. I like to hear the birds sing. I like to pull myself out and feel life. And by doing that, it's combined with appreciation for life and saving space for my time, for me to live life, just me and nature. I spend a lot of time walking.
Right. So there you go. Exercise, walking, shifting. Thank you so much. Natalie, what about for yourself? How are you sustaining that engine of yours?
Well, I would say lately it's been somewhat of a challenge. I'm a federal employee. So as you can imagine, the craziness that's going on, and I am in the Health and Human Services. So these past week and a half has been a lot. So last week I decided to take some time off and celebrate one of my girlfriends. It was her birthday, and we went to like a day spa and just hung out all day, went to sleep in like the salt cave and just laid around. And then that next day, my boss was like, my new boss, because my previous boss was unfortunately fired, said, well, if you need to take off and take that time, then do that. And I just took that time and relaxed and created. I like to paint, and just create different things for beautiful and rearrange flowers and be out in nature, like Linda said. So it's been that type of week or two, but I made sure that I was very intentional about it. Took some time to relax, relate, release, and meditate a little bit, and just lay there. Like yesterday, I just
Yeah.
laid there, vegged out in bed, and watched, I don't know, something on YouTube. I don't even remember what it was, but but that was good for me to just kind of rest my brain, because how traumatizing everything unfortunately has been these past couple days, and how that impacts those that we help, and how do we make sure that get them the care that they need in the weeks to come. So, but yeah, relaxing a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, you said it too, resting your brain, right?
Yeah.
Resting your body, resting your brain. For some people, resting their brain, they can still be. So for me, one of the things I like to do is organize. I mean, to me, there's nothing sexier than an organized t-shirt drawer. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's that brain dead thing that I'm just like, and I feel functional, and I feel like I'm doing something good for myself. It definitely isn't on my business to-do list. Nobody cares if my t-shirts are organized, or, my, what we all call it, still a Tupperware drawer. But it's that kind of thing, just doing whatever lets your brain rest. And Miss Lucy, how about yourself?
All right, so a few things. One thing I do is, and amongst a lot of the things that the ladies has already stated, I do pray. I like to pray and get my strength from God, because without Him, none of what I do would be possible. So that's number one. Number two, I'm a single mom, so of a 4 and 5 year old. So my daughter, she's a little girly girl, so I like going to get our nails done together. And sometimes just doing nothing is good, because working and then coming home to two little ones, they can keep me busy. So for me as a mom, and if you most of y'all are moms, you can understand that sometimes going in the bathroom for like 5 minutes, I don't have to do nothing to shut myself in the bathroom for a few minutes. And without that knocking on the door, mommy, I'm like, okay, I'll be out in about 5 minutes. So just doing nothing sometimes, and understanding. Oh, in this season, what I've learned is no, and being okay with saying no. Because I used to just be yes to everything, yes to everything. The season of no, and it felt good, because I'd be like, oh, felt like a weight just lifted off, because I felt like I just had to just be there for them, do that. I start saying no.
That's great. That's great. I'm sure I'm sure your daughters do the same thing. They say no. They have no problem saying no. I'm sure we all said no. They have no problem saying no. Something as we were like, oh, okay. But that's fantastic. Thank you so much. And Cassandra, we're talking about, we're pouring out into the world. We're doing some cool things out there. We're talking about being fearless. We're talking about being flourishing. We're talking about resilience. But what keeps you fueled? What is the thing that you do that makes you able to continue to do what you do?
Quite honestly, it's a lot of what's already been said. Started out walking, and then doing kickboxing. That helped a lot. Get some frustrations out and exercise at the same time. But at the same time, like Lucy said, and it's funny because I was just thinking, and go to the bathroom, take a shower. Like I have 3 kids. And so, yeah, that knocking on the door, like, So I wait till everybody goes to sleep, and then just take some time. Sometimes I'm in there crying. Sometimes I'm in there and I'm just meditating and just being thankful but it's just a way to have a space to just get away, and let it be for me. And then music for me soothes my soul. So whenever I'm really in there, if I need to be up, I play something to get me moving. If I just need to praise, and I throw on some praise and worship, like whatever it is that I feel like I need to lift my spirit, then that's where I go. If I need to drive in the car and listen to it in the radio and just drive around a little bit, then that's what it is. But just making sure that it's something that's for me, even if the crew is behind me, they got their thing and I got mine. And so we just make it that way, but it's got to be about you. And it is selfless to be selfish. Like it's not being selfish to take care of you. It's being selfish to not take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. We talk a lot about music on Mission Accepted. We talk a lot about it. And I think one of the most powerful things is doing what we're doing right now. Like, this is taking time out to be in community. Now, for those that are not watching, you're not seeing all these gorgeous, beautiful women's faces that I'm staring into. But there's something about being in circle, whatever that circle looks like, no matter where it is, with your tribe. Whether it's all women, whether it's women and those that support women, because those are the only two people that I know, right? And it's like they're supporting, and you don't have to feel like you have to talk. You know what I mean? When you're sitting in a group of whatever you're doing, right? Whether it's your industry, whether it's your sector, whether it's your family, whatever you're doing, you just can look at each other. Like, you can be behind stage about to go on to speak, and you could look at each other and you don't have to say anything, but you know what that speaker is going through, you know what you're going through. And that's how we're going to end this show today. We're going to talk about bravery, right? I think because we are all brave. We all step up in our own different ways. And again, we're big stand up, show up, speak up, write up, music up, spa up, walk up, do it, rise up. So let's talk about bravery. And we're going to go around the room. And we do talk about music. It's kind of always that last secret question I ask. It's like, if you were on your way to a desert island and it was you and only you, not your 8, not your 4, not your tribe, just you. And you were going there, and this was it. You were taking your last suitcase and you could slide in one album. What album would it be? Now, you could tell me a singer. You could tell me a song. You could tell me an album. But at the same time, when I go to you, what is it you do to be brave? Like, what do you do to be brave? Or what advice do you have for someone to be brave? Because you've all braved up. You're here. This is Mission Accepted. You don't get here without taking risks. You hit the cliff, you jump the cliff, you fell down and hit a beautiful tropical pool of water. And sometimes like, ooh, a little rocky down here. So I want you to just share something about bravery. And then I want you to end with, and the song that I would want to listen to that I could not imagine not listening to for the rest of my days are. And then don't leave. We're going to hang out. So PJ, I'm going to start with you.
Bravery to me looks like never giving up. A lot of us have gone through some of the worst things that people can go through. I know a little bit about your story. I'm not going to say it, but some of the stuff that you told me that you've gone through, it took bravery for you to be who you are today. So bravery to me is basically the same as resilience, going through the worst that life has to throw at you and still understanding that you have a journey, you have a purpose, and getting up after you go through that. It's not going through it that it's the worst, it's the getting up afterwards and keeping on walking towards your purpose. That's what, to me, that's what bravery is, to not be afraid, not because it's easy to give up, that to let that fear take over and give up. So yeah, bravery to me is just moving on. And I'm a musician. Like, I play many instruments. So that's a question. I'm like, oh my goodness, is it going to be Beethoven? Is it going to be Erykah Badu? Is it going to be Queen? So I'm going to say that the album that I would probably take with me is an Erykah Badu album. And she sang a song AD 2000. And it's basically saying, I'm not going to let anyone name anything after me, because things deteriorate, things are not taken care of, I'm going to make my own legacy. I'm going to create my own building. I'm going to make my own worth. And that's the song that I listen to when I'm not feeling the best. And by the end of that song, I'm just like, okay. But that's one of my favorites, but that's just one of so many that I can sit this, take a whole.
This is the hardest question people say I ask them. So everyone's sitting around in this group right now going, what song is it? Which one am I going to pick? I'm telling you right now, because I would be. So it's a tough question, but look, at people are going to take this. We put these songs there and people listen, and don't worry, you can come back on the show and pick another one. Darla, what about you? Bravery and music. Let's go. Those two.
Let's go. So bravery, yeah, I do a lot of things that are way out of my comfort zone. And what that looks like to me is when the pain of where I am is worse than where I'm going, that's when I need to just take a deep breath and jump. And I've done it many times. And it gets a little easier, like, oh, I've lived this before, so I can do it again. And as far as, music, well, I'm a musician as well and a singer. Pink Floyd is just my absolute all-time favorite performers. It's hard to pick an album, but if I had to, it'd have to be Dark Side of the Moon. As a musician, I feel like their music composition is brilliant, and you can't just listen to one song. The whole album is a song. And there's just something about them. I go into that my zone, like my happy place when I hear them.
Right on. I love that. Album is a song. That is awesome. All right. Miss V or Lady V. Miss Lady the Queen. You talked about Queen. All right.
Well, bravery for me is knowing that no matter what it looked like, that you still have a choice to be able to just push on through. And when I say push, that means pray until something happens. And that's what I like to do. I pray, and I don't get too BIG in it, because that you don't want to be too BIG in what you're trying to do, because then it takes away from your humbleness and your bravery. And so I like to just say, okay, take a break, take a step back, and know that, guess what? I can accomplish and overcome anything and everything I set my mind to, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so that's my favorite verse. But my favorite song that I really tie this into is actually Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror, because no matter what, I got to be the best me. I got to know that it's okay for me to be all right, and that I am worth it, and I am more than enough, and I will show the world that I'm going to be who I want you to be as well. And so we're going to do it together. And that's my bravery and my song.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness. And Lucy.
Yeah, so my bravery is perseverance. Just perseverance and pressing through it all and knowing that you can make it. You may have some things that get you down, but don't stay down. Get back up. It's okay. Because like we said, it's okay not to be okay, but just don't give up. And know that you are enough. As my shirt say, you are enough. And so my song is, well, my album is in person is William Murphy. I absolutely love William Murphy. He ministered to my spirit, my person, my being. And it's like that type of album that no matter what you're going through, you listen to it and you be like, how you know? How you know? It's one of those. So it's amazing. And I love William Murphy. So that's my person, that's my song. And just an encouragement to the people. You are enough. You are enough.
Right on. Thank you so much. And Cassandra.
I think my bravery, and it was given to me once by one of my principals that I worked with, who later became like a really dear friend. And it was that you may be deflated, but not defeated. And so I've been living that one a lot lately. And that's just lifing, right? And so that has sustained me with bravery and just having to move, even in being afraid, move anyway. And that's just been the path that I've been on now. Is just, you know what, do it, because what's the harm? The harm is in not doing and not knowing and then wondering. So do it anyway. The music, man, girl, I don't.
It's a tough one. Just
Okay. So I'm like, okay, well, is it this one? Like
I know.
artist albums, like I can
I
go on.
know.
But I'm gonna do Karen Clark Sheard, Finally Karen,
Right
because
on.
even being a gospel album, maybe you can go all over the place with that one. So I'm gonna go with that one.
We're going to be listing all of these in the show notes, and our listeners are going to have you're going to wake up. That's for sure. Okay. Thank you so much. And Ebony.
Bravery for me, I would say, and it kind of piggybacks off the other ladies, is just getting up, believing that Jeremiah 29:11 is one of my favorite scriptures, believing that because God already knew the plan that he had for me, I can be unapologetically okay with walking and stepping into my power every single day. And my song would be, and album would be Goodness of God by CC Winans, because all my life he has truly been faithful. So that's the one that I will go with.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing. All right. And Linda.
Always have a problem with that mute button. Bravery for me means being courageous. And it goes again with a lot of what others have been saying, that it's okay to fall. And I am going to fall, and we all fall. But then we're brave and we have courage and we pick ourselves up again. That to me is bravery and what I have experienced, and we all have. Just have to keep moving on and realizing that it's okay. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to fall. And that is bravery. And for a song, I'm not sure. Kind of my brain is at a low with that one, but I'm thinking Katy Perry, Roar. Just watch me roar. Watch me get through life, because that's me.
Right on. That's a great song. All right. And Natalie, wrapping up these words of wisdom around what gets you to be brave. And then what is the closing music we're going to hear about?
All right. So bravery for me has really been alluded to by a lot of the other ladies. And keeping and getting up consistently, I think is so very important. How many times you fall down, make sure you get back up and keep pushing through, because it's so important to be like, okay, I'm gonna dust myself off, but I'm gonna keep going regardless of the situation and whatever, I guess, obstacles you may be facing is definitely, and the courage to say, no, I'm going to keep going. I think those two combined is really paramount. As far as songs, I really don't know. I would say for one song, when I was going through my brain surgery trials and tribulations, going into the MRI machine, I always picked Her, the artist Her. And for whatever reason, it always soothes me to sit in the machine for like an hour or 2 hours when I'm just sitting there like, well, what's going to happen next? And it just gave me that strength to keep going and realize, okay, it's going to be okay. And, kind of bopping to it as well, having a little some tunes in there. So I would say her whole album, Slow Down, with her and Skip Marley, or something to kind of just enjoy life after things have been put in front of you. Take that time and really enjoy every gift of the seconds that you're given to move through life and all the challenges and triumphs that you have.
That is amazing. When you think about music, you think about it, it's a vibration, right? It can move
Yeah.
you. You can be bopping when you're in a machine. I mean, I think it's the ultimate free go-to. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's no one on the other end of the phone, you can always go and pull up your music, and it can shift how you feel. And I think that's so important as we take this journey of entrepreneurship, as we take this journey or take on the mission, we are shifting how we feel. We learn how to do it with mindset. We do it through journals. We do it through hanging out with good people. So music, we can drop into at any time and almost claim it. It's like you're the only person listening to that and drawing from that, which I think why music is so powerful, and it brings people together. It's non-political, it's non-sector, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Music is so binding because it's a free form. It's a free form. I just absolutely love it. And I think bravery sometimes, we're working with people that are having to brave up. Sometimes that means paying for a coach they don't have. It's a financial brave up. right? Trusting in like, ooh, how am I going to make that money back, right? It can be braving up with, oh, I'm going to go on a stage I've never been on before. It could be, I'm going to make a website. It could be, I'm going to, like, there's times of growth in your business, I'm sure, and in other people's business that are listening, that's going to ask them to do things they've never done. I spent the weekend with my son. He just turned 21. He started his business at 15, and he would hang up on me, hang up on the phone. My son doesn't hang, my kids don't hang up on me. So they're not even allowed to roll their eyes. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. They're not allowed to do that. But I said, you need to do a podcast. Now this is, he was like, 18 years old, 19 years old, doing his business, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you need to do a podcast, but he was shy. I'm like, I've got a podcast book for you. I'll be on it with you. He's like, I'm not going. And I'm like, here's the Zoom. He's like, I'm not showing up. I'm like, see you there. And then I would hang up. And then he's like, I'm not coming. And he would hang up. And sure enough, and then, here he is. And he's made his way all the way to all sorts of TV and I watched him at the show this weekend, and I could stand behind the booth and he was in front of the booth. Sometimes it's even speaking up about things that we love. Right. Even as so bravery from an entrepreneur standpoint is so vast. It's so vast because as you start to become this new version of the great cool you, or come back to the version of the great cool you, you're probably going to get asked to step out in some way and step up, because that's the mind of the creative, right? That's the mind of the entrepreneur. You're like, what's next? What's next? And so I think we are in a constant drive of bravery, to be honest with you, and courageous, and getting down and pushing forward, and putting the cart before the horse. That's what I see entrepreneurs do. They're like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the skill. Sure, yep, sign me up, I'll do it. That's how we think, right? So I think bravery is such an incredible mission within itself, right? And then kids and people around watch them, and they're like, wow, how do you do that? You're like, one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. So ladies, thank you so much for being with us today. This is absolutely incredible. I'm sure people are drawing inspired and motivated. And I'm going to talk to the audience for a few minutes because they're a cool audience. Look at, share, you know what to do because you always do, but share, comment. All of these ladies' information is going to be in the show notes. If you are listening and you didn't know who was who, you can contact us, and me and Carmel will tell you who was who. Because if you leaned in when someone was talking, that's my indication. When I hear someone and I kind of see my body leaning in, or I'm like, I could repeat a few words that they said, I know there's a conversation to be had. That's it. Have a conversation. These women are changing the world. You want to hang on to their train. And this day that we're doing this, I know that when you're seeing it, we'll have already launched, but this is the day, the 24 hours before we're talking about braving, that we are launching the women's channel. Oh my goodness, take a deep breath. I was sharing earlier that one of my first jobs was a Denny's waitress, and I took the graveyard shift because our family needed money, and they paid $3.65 an hour. In the daytime, got $2.85 an hour. And for some reason, I thought that 80 cents an hour was worth staying up all night and going to school the next day. So you too can be crazy and join this train and somehow own a TV channel. But I want to say this, and I think it's important to say it here, is that here's the funny thing: you can. Things have changed. We have accessibility that we never had before. I think more than anything, that's what makes me so excited about doing this. And you want to talk about some, I'm listening to my own head today. I'm like, ooh, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? So all of us get to that stage, but I really want you to join us if you haven't joined us, because you're going to hear this after when we launch this on the 8th and 9th, tomorrow and the next day. I want you to ask for the recording, because it really is a moment in time where we get to own channels. You don't have to have deep pockets. You don't have to beat to someone else's drum. I get to wear whatever I want. I get to say whatever I want. I'm not under scrutiny because it's my damn channel. And also, women can come on and they can have their own show. Our channel is called the Women's Channel, and it is for women and those that support women, period. And you can have our channel is called Stand Up, Speak Up, Show Up. It could be a late night show. You could want to do cooking on your show and not for dinner. You know what I mean? You could want to teach something. You might want to read out of your book. You want to maybe talk about poetry. You want to talk about pouring into young girls, whatever you want to do. You too can have your own show. And I'm not just talking to the women here. I'm talking to you out there, that it is possible. So I'm inviting you to have that conversation, because this is new digital and new ways of being able to have exposure, because there's so many entrepreneurs that are putting their feet on the ground every morning. And it is all very difficult to get exposure and eyes. It just truly is, right? The right eyes and the right exposure. So we've opened up this accessibility media opportunity because you don't have to have deep products. This is my calling. This is the Mission Accepted calling. We're working with people to help get you platforms and access. So every featured speaker that is on our summit, you heard it here, that is going to speak on our summit. We do 220 speaking spots a year. We are automatically going to take your summit spot. We are going to gift you. We're going to make it pretty. We're going to turn it into an episode, and you are going to be placed on the women's channel. Now, how freaking cool is that? So you are the first podcast that gets to hear us talk about this. So yay you, yay us, and yay everybody. So we're super excited. If that interests you at all, or you want to come on to the show like these ladies did, we are not difficult to find. It's debdrummond.com. It's my name. We did it for a reason, because it's easy. It's easy. So thank you so much. Please check out these ladies. PJ, before we do a final goodbye, right, I want you to just say a few words, because this was your party. This was your show. This was your gathering. I'm just in the wagon. I'm just in the wagon. So say a few words. If you've got anything coming up of another summit or anything like that, please share.
First, I want to thank you, Deb, for having me and these ladies on the show and giving us the opportunity to share who we are and what we do. Thank you, ladies, so much for the support that you guys have all shown me and us being together in the Fearless and Flourishing team. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I do have my channel on YouTube, Empowered Voices Finding Strength on Survivors. If you guys come and check me out, I'm starting a show, I Survived Domestic Violence, that's going to be on Mondays, where I interview women and they share their stories. So I'm up and coming. I would love for you guys to work with me, hit my link, because I am someone who is not afraid to do what is necessary to heal. I'm not going to, hold your hand, but I'm going to tell you what you need to know in order for you to grow and be healthy and heal in your journey. This is not going to be easy. Nothing is ever easy, but it's always worth it in the end. And if you're willing to take that step, contact Deb, contact me, contact one of these ladies. Like she said, if you leaned in, when one of us was talking, reach out to one of us, because we're all here to help. We're all here to heal. Mission accepted. I accept your mission, Ms. Deb. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Okay. With that being said, we will all see you again next week on Mission Accepted. Thank you. Be well and stay groovy.